brought me sprinkle cookies.
So what, no fucking TV now? Hey!
Maybe she's from Jersey.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Maybe She's from Jersey. We have a very special guest, my favorite roommate from college, because I did have many. Sorry, guys.
I didn't practice this. Hi, guys. My name is Sarah Potter. And
Not from Harry Potter, though.
yeah, not to be confused. Story of my life.
Wait, let's shout out. This is like one of my favorite places in Hoboken. If you follow me on social media, you know exactly what I'm going to say. It's Alessio's in Hoboken. It's this cute little like Italian cafe pizza place. They have anything from like morning wraps to rainbow cookies to ice cream, well, gelato, great coffee, great snacks. You could get pasta there. They literally have it all. They also have puppuccinos. If you have a dog, they give you whipped cream. But I just got a oat milk cappuccino.
I got a cappuccino with almond milk. What
Is it
did you
good?
get? It is good.
I didn't get coffee because I'm having some tummy troubles. But I got a rainbow cookie because that makes sense. They honestly look, I mean, I wish we could zoom in.
I
but
wish
they
we could
look
zoom in.
so good. They'll be on the
If you get
Instagram.
anything at Alessio's, get the rainbow cookies.
I don't know if this is a trigger word, but they're moist.
They are so good.
Yeah, they're really good.
Trigger word for what?
I don't know. People get grossed out by that word sometimes.
PTSD.
Yeah. So anyway, check them out. This episode, we're going to actually talk about a variety of things today involving like mental health, body image, cosmetics, nutrition, things we've tried, hated, loved, the whole 9 yards. We're probably going to do this in like 3 episodes, to be honest. It could be a 3-part thing. Because we got a lot to say.
Yeah.
We're all about like Bazzi? We're all about Bazzi.
Bazzi.
We're all about body
Body
again.
positivity.
Yes.
But I'm not like the most privy to mental health topics, and this 100% falls within that category. So my little kind of took this one on.
I love mental health. If I haven't mentioned already in my episodes, I've literally been in therapy for 9 years. Absolutely love it. I think everybody should be going to therapy. It's literally like going to the gym. Like if you take care of your physical health, you have to take care of your mental health. I also love the saying, we use our brains to make every single decision ever. Every single decision we make, we use our brains. So why would we not take more care of it? Was that English?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Sounds great. But yeah, so I'm all for mental health. I read mental health books. I love when people call it actually like brain health, because like your brain is an organ, like your liver. Like if, your liver is not doing too hot, you take care of your liver. You're not just like, oh, that sucks. I guess I'll just have a shitty liver for the rest of my life. Like you just take care of it. So I don't know. Love mental health. Love positivity.
I think that there's a real connection between physical health and how that plays a part in your mental health, because it's not just like being your thinnest or whatnot, but when you're doing things that encourage a healthy lifestyle, or you feel like you're in control and you're making good choices, your mental health improves as well. Yeah. But it also has the inverse effect. Like when I had lost a ton of weight, I thought that would be the answer and I would be the happiest I ever was.
Yep. Yeah.
But your mental health declines when you're not doing it correctly, or you don't learn from it.
Right.
Which I can speak on a lot too, because, when I originally lost weight in high school, my mom was helping me. My mom and I were seeing a nutritionist, but I was in school, the same amount of hours every day, ate lunch the same time.
Right.
I was in such a controlled environment that, of course, if I'm eating healthy and I'm eating planned meals, all of the decision making was taken off of me.
Yeah.
Right.
So it was working, but when I went to college, I almost immediately gained weight.
Yeah.
And that's when I learned how to work out. And I started seeing trainers and things like that. But then I started overworking out.
Yeah.
And like I'd have to meet a certain amount of calories burned. I think there's a really strong connection between physical and mental health.
Have you ever looked your best but actually been at your worst mentally? Because where does that correlate of what society defines as great? You know, you look great or whatever. You know, you might actually be at your worst, or vice versa. Or you know, you might actually be, you know, I personally, I don't even step on the scale anymore because I'm not going to define myself on a number. Like, I go how my body feels. If my body feels good and feels healthy, great. You know, because there was a time where like I was so focused being like, oh, okay, I have to hit this number and then my body will be healthy. And then actually just wasn't the case for me. There's so much that goes into that. There was a trend on TikTok and it was like show you when people thought you were at your best but you were actually at your worst and things like that. And I feel like they really do correlate sometimes. Like, even if you are unhappy with your weight, if you do have a goal and you know you want to gain more or lose more or whatever it is, like, I don't know, I think they definitely correlate. And a lot can go into like self-esteem issues, or like, I know for me sometimes like I have Lyme disease. So some weeks like my appetite is shit for no reason. And I'll lose so much weight and my clothes feel like shit on me, you know? And then,
so, like it's not like the lighter you are, or the more weight you lose, your happiness increases. And I think that's kind of the narrative that was fed to us, especially, you know, before our generation got really into working out, which kind of happened right around high school, I feel. That's when everyone started getting gym memberships and everything and whatnot. But I think that that is a huge component to happiness, is being healthy.
Right.
But it can completely go the other way if happiness equals weight on the scale. I've been through a lot of the different kinds of diets and learning and exercising and whatnot. Right now, I'm definitely not at my happiest, but I feel like in a lot of other aspects in my life, they have taken kind of a forefront, and I'm trying to stabilize that right now.
Gotcha.
And sometimes you can only handle a couple things at a time. You can't use that as a cop-out and say, oh, I can't deal with my health right now, because like that should be a priority. But sometimes there's other things that go into that, like mental health. Are you getting enough sleep? Are you restricting your food? Are you seeing friends? Are you, you know? So it's not always the weight on the scale.
Is like a huge social problem for me, because I don't necessarily need to eat when I'm home. Like I don't like get cravings. I don't
snacky.
I'm not a snacker, but when I'm out, that's how I socialize. We go out to eat, to drink, whatever. So it's hard to be like, can I have broccoli and grilled chicken? Like, that's just not realistic. So I do that currently because I'm following a consistent routine plan with a professional, which again, I'm financially stable enough to do that. So I feel for my younger self and those who can't afford to do that. But yeah, the social aspect is hard for me, because that's like, how could you go to a pizza place? Everyone's around you ordering food and drinks, and you're sitting there with the water. It's just not realistic. And I would almost not go out. I would not see my friends because of where they were going. Because I just wanted to avoid the temptation, and that sucked. And that definitely like affected me. I was like, well, I can't hang out with you guys. And, you know, I had major FOMO.
I think that makes sense. I remember when I was, you know, really focused on balancing my food, and my nutritionist would tell me all the time, you can't restrict, because then the second you have a break, you're going to want to eat everything. But for me, it was mostly like I eat very fast. So that's something I need to work on. Conscious eating and intuitive eating, and
like being present,
mindful when you're eating. Because one slice of pizza, like that, pizza's in Weight Watchers. Like it's, you know, it's not like, oh my gosh, I had this pizza. But it becomes like, I could eat like 3-4 slices of pizza. But you go and you have, you know, water, salad, a piece of pizza, like a balanced meal. And you don't leave feeling gross. But when you never get to eat that, then you're going to have those like 3-4 slices of pizza.
That's very true.
I feel like your food situation is just different because of your Lyme's disease, but I've known you, whatever, how many years, and you've always been trying to gain weight. So it's like the opposite.
Yeah. I feel like too, people will sometimes be like, oh, well, I wish I had that problem. And I'm like, but sometimes like that makes me feel shitty because I don't fit in my clothes or like, there's there's a pro and con to everything. Like everyone's body's different and things like that. But I wanted to skip on to what you were saying, like the look your best, worst mentally. I think the thing to look forward to, like I wrote here, is body image. Like if there's something you would like to change or work on, it should be in hopes of what's going to make you feel better about yourself and not what society's going to consider right,
Oh, that's
and I think
hard.
that's like the biggest factor in it is because, I mean, I remember when I was in high school, like I'd be in dance class and like I had like more muscle than that person, or, this person was more leggy than me. And I'm like, oh, I should look like this. I should look like that. And it was all the other information being fed to me that I was like, oh, I should look like this. And in reality, that's not true. So I would encourage others, if anyone listening, especially like a younger generation, of what feels good to you, what is good for your body type, because I think making realistic goals in that is much healthier and much more important than the idea that society has that everybody should look like, which is just not.
I think our generation too did a good job. I actually have like a catch-22 with this, but on the positive end, body positivity has like flourished in the last 10 years, and they're showcasing women in all sizes to look beautiful. Like you can wear this shirt and it look like a certain way on you, a certain way on me, a certain way on you, a certain way on that person, and they all look good. It's just, and confidence like radiates out of people. So I feel like back in the day, you were fed this narrative, if you look this way, you'll feel confident, hence happier.
Yeah.
So yes, it's probably why people are pushing for a certain weight on the scale to feel good about themselves. In a sense, maybe you'll be like, oh, I fit in this pair of jeans, but if you're sincerely unhappy, the weight's not going to change your mindset.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, anyone who feels differently, you're never going to understand until you lose the weight, and then you're like, they were right. It's something that like someone said that to me and I never understood it until I did it, and then I lost weight and was like, well, I still don't like feel different.
Yeah.
So like maybe when I went out to the bar that summer, I
The
felt
attention,
okay.
like,
but like,
yeah.
at
It only
home,
lasts so
It
long.
only lasts so long.
I think at the end of the day, a lot of people, especially people who are very into fitness and have worked really hard to look like that, I used to be like, oh, like they want everyone to be fit, or like they don't tolerate people who aren't. And I think there's a level of compassion, like what you were talking about, like you want everyone to love themselves and meet them where they are.
Right.
Like, this is where I am at this point in time.
Exactly.
I think everybody who's overweight knows. So like they just have to make the decision, including myself, when they're ready to advance themselves and work on their health. But I do think preaching body positivity should also always be coupled with a healthy lifestyle. So yes, like I'm considered overweight at this point in time, and I know it's not just physical activity or eating. Like I don't get nearly enough sleep. I'm overstressed, which most of us are. And that severely affects how your body can lose weight. Also,
even just like what you eat, like like her job's very stressful at times, and she's like, I had one meal today.
Right.
Like you would think, oh, you drop weight. That's not the case.
Also, I was going to say, when you do those fad diets, and for people at home, like look this up if you don't trust me, but the more often you lose and gain weight, especially as an adult, the harder it is to lose weight. Your body doesn't respond anymore, which happened to me a lot. And I ended up seeing a specialist because if you know me, you know I eat healthy, probably healthier than the average person.
It's insane. I was always baffled why you were always on a diet, because I'm like, what more could you do?
Like, I love to cook. So I learned a lot about nutrition early on, and I knew how to eat, and I would work out, but my biggest problem was consistency, one, and two, like other factors. So my stress and anxiety played a huge factor.
And everybody's different. Like your metabolic rate, everybody.
And my body was like always in fight or flight because I was always so stressed. So you have to get yourself mentally and physically healthy.
Yeah.
Like it's a balance, and it's probably a lifelong struggle for everyone.
Yeah.
Even some of my best friends who are in the best shape of their entire lives, they will always tell you that they're still working towards something.
Yeah.
So, and that's encouraging. You know.
Yeah.
And everyone is working on other stuff. Like you might have the best body you've ever had, felt so confident, and you might not be as confident in another aspect of your life.
Right.
Not like it's like a competition. It's just nobody's got it perfect.
Right.
So,
Absolutely. That's very true. My next question goes into kind of the effects of TikTok, face filters, body contouring on Facetune, things like that. What you think that effect is on our age group, mid-20s, young 20s, and a younger generation watching all this thinking, should I look like this? And that could go into like, someone's body, someone's face. Like for me, I always look at things and I'm like, wow, their skin is so clear. Like, how does your skin look like that all the time? How are you packing on makeup and your skin just looks amazing all the time? Because I put one layer of foundation on and my skin is like, fuck you. I'm going to ruin the next 7 days of your life. And I'm like, great, thank you so much.
yeah.
But it does create unrealistic expectations.
Even like subconsciously.
Yeah. And like, listen, I got Botox. I want to get my lips done. Like, I'm very vocal about the things that I will get done because I feel like it's on my face and people are clearly going to notice if something's a little different. And I don't care to share it.
But let's say they didn't notice. Would you still tell them?
I would.
Okay.
I would, because I feel like people should know. If that's something that I want to get done, I mean, then again, that's your business. If you don't want to share, you don't have to. But I feel like we've started to create this unrealistic expectation that people are just going to look like that.
I would say definitely don't lie. Like, if I do those things too. I wouldn't be like, hi, nice to meet you. I do Botox.
No.
But if someone was like, oh my God, you have like no wrinkles. I have this wrinkle here. Because we're all at that age where we're starting to notice things. I will then be like, no, honey, I get Botox. I'm like, please don't think I'm better than you. No. Or someone like be like, oh, your skin's so good. I'm like, I have a 24/7 routine. I do 7 days a week and I have very expensive products. Like this is not, I mean, half of it is genetic, but I do work really hard on my skin.
Yeah.
And I get facials. I do it all, and I'm financially able to do that. Some people are not in that sense. Yes. But the second someone tries to compliment me, I'll say, thank you. And then I'll say, but honey, this is what the real deal is. I spend
lots of money on it.
Yes, it's not, you're not an outlier. Right. I am the outlier.
Think that's also something to talk about, if we wanted to, but money really does help. Like,
look at the Jenners
and
the Kardashians.
I think that's the thing though. Like, if you're open about it, like I'm very open about if I spend money on something. Like if someone's like, oh my gosh, I love this XYZ, I will be like, this is where you get it and this is how much it costs. Like, and it's unfortunate. I've also been in that situation, especially younger, like before I had financial freedom.
Right.
And just knowing where you're at, like it gives you something to work towards. And if like the playing field isn't always even. And back to what you were talking about with the filters and whatnot, girl, I have totally edited my pictures, like been through it, been caught, like deleted, things like that, especially when I was younger. But I think it doesn't affect me as much anymore because I know it's there.
Yeah.
Like I know people edit their pictures and their TikToks and the beauty filters and their Snapchats and whatever. Like if that's what that person needs to feel good about that picture, I'm not the police.
Right.
I'm not the photo police.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say you shouldn't post that. Like my Instagram is not real life. Like, is it dangerous? for younger generations and our subconscious, for sure. But is it there and we have to deal with it already? Yeah.
Right.
I think for us, I think we've had the very unique experience of not having social media and having social media right in the middle.
Yeah.
So the people older than us didn't get social media till they were older.
Yeah.
We were like
in high school.
That unique age where you could be molded by it, but also old enough to be like, this isn't real. Like we were kind of, we were like swaying back almost.
We were also like a guinea pig for social media, I feel
and
like.
I just think as far as the filters, as a con, I guess, I went to Snapchat to take like a cute photo because the lighting was good. And I instantly went to pick a filter. I didn't even want to take the photo raw, and it was just subconscious. I just instantly went, and I had my makeup done, I had my hair done, I looked good.
It's never enough.
But my instant reaction was to find a good filter, and I caught myself. And I was like, why am I looking for a filter? So things like that. That's a con. But at the same time, I'm old enough and mature enough to an extent, because sometimes
If
it
she
gets
does
to me.
say so herself.
Like those things do get to me, but I am able to acknowledge that, you know, when someone does post a good selfie or a Snapchat, and if it, for whatever reason, if I'm like, oh, like I kind of wish I had that or had this or skin or boobs or whatever, I can be like, it's probably filtered. Like, I'm just going to assume that just to make myself feel better, whatever. Because not, like you said, Instagram's not real. People also post those things to feel good about themselves. So who am I to judge?
That is that was a realization I had in college. Like, and I tried to help other people see it, but like, we only post on social media, and whoever says they disagree with this,
they're
get right
wrong.
with yourself. But we only post things for attention. Now,
For
that's
other people.
From other people. Now, that's a very general statement. Like, it's not like I'm saying we post things for the opposite sex or same sex or whatever attention, like to get that person to like you. It's like everyone. You just want people to know, like, I'm traveling.
Right.
I made it.
I look good today.
I look good today. I like this outfit. Like, whatever the
I
reason
got
may
this
be.
car.
But like, if that's the case, like, just own it and like post the picture for you, because you know why you're doing it.
Right.
Pick the picture that you like. Pick like whatever. And once you get right with your like reasoning, then it becomes a little easier. Like, if I want to edit my picture, then I'm going to edit my picture. Like, I mean, I'm not going to like make my waist half its size and try to do that anymore.
What you're saying about the younger generation, like I said, we're in a unique stance where we're adults and we are probably better at compartmentalizing that thought process. But I'm worried for the younger generation because, one, your brain's not fully developed.
Yes.
And it, like I just said, it subconsciously hit me to put a filter on right away. That's all they know.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it affects them subconsciously, consciously, whatever. But I do feel bad for those girls that are high school and below, even sometimes college. It's an awkward stage. Like you're literally changing physically all the time.
Yeah.
It hormonally, like
Everything.
everything. So
Listen, I will say though, this younger generation knows way more about how to look good.
Yeah.
Like their makeup on point.
But doesn't that make you think, like, are they doing it because there's this standard and it's from social media?
Yeah.
Like, you ever see that meme where it's like a 13-year-old now and a 13-year-old
Yeah.
13?
Literally.
And the difference, like,
Me and my limited 2 tracksuit.
Yeah.
so that makes me scared because I can only imagine how that's going to affect them at our age.
Right. My thing is to like kind of like Sarah, what you said is like, it's not going anywhere. It's not, we're not going to backtrack. It's not, they're not going to be deleted. It's not going to, it's here. It's more like, how are we going to cope with it for, you know, if it doesn't bother you, then it doesn't bother you. If it does, it does.
Yeah.
Like, how are we going to cope with it? Because it's here. Like, I heard Gary Vee say that once about social media. He's like, we're not going to go backwards. He was like, Elvis Presley, when he first started shaking his hips, that was such a big deal. Like, everyone was like, oh my God, how inappropriate. Well, look at us now. We're like shaking our ass on TikTok. So like, it's just like, there's always going to be something that people are uncomfortable with it or whatever. Is it right? Is it wrong?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's here.
Well,
and it is kind of like,
How do we move forward?
Yeah. How do we move with it?
I think also we all have different starting points. So like we look at the younger generation and we're like, oh my gosh, like, how are they going to get through this? Like, what are they going to be like? But like, they already started. They're already running their race. Like, they're figuring it out. We're figuring it out. Like, I think that we worry too much about what we're going to see happen and like what people are going to be like and whatnot. But I think obviously that's a really high level statement to make. Like, we all have pressure. So they just look different for the different generations. And we continue to figure it out. And I think the one benefit, as all of these toxic things that we know are toxic keep coming out, there's also increased discussion that we never had in our generation.
Last
like
10 years.
Yeah, therapy is very common. Like, I remember when I started going to therapy in high school, I didn't want to talk about it. Like, it wasn't like cool. Like, you know, people were like, what's wrong with you?
If you don't have a therapist now, people are like, you should do that.
Yeah.
Right. And also, like, when I was losing weight in high school, I mean, it became evident, you know, I lost a significant amount of weight. Like, I lost around 60 pounds. So people noticed. But it was really awkward to talk about.
Yeah.
Like
when people are like, you look so good. And you know it's a compliment.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, did you lose weight? And you're like, yeah. And they're like, wow. And in the moment, you're like, oh, thank you. But then instantly, at least me, I'm like, did I look bad before?
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, like, I was doing it in a healthy way.
Yeah.
But my mind wasn't. Right. And like, I remember I got really thin because I wasn't working out.
Yeah.
Because I was really young. I think I was like 16 when I started seeing a nutritionist. And I lost weight and my body looked really disproportionate because I didn't know anything about fitness. So I think people were also a little nervous because I didn't quite look right. So, you know, I think that people, you know, were cautious about what they said, especially when I got at like my thinnest. But then I had girls that like I didn't really talk to that would private message me and be like, how did you do that? And honestly, at that point, it didn't make me feel good. Like, I knew what they were asking me. And I would always tell them I'm seeing like a nutritionist.
Yeah,
and
like a professional.
I'm like, I was medicated. Like, I was on an appetite suppressant.
Wow.
I had a lot of help, and I definitely took the easy way out. And as an adult, I realized that. But like I mentioned earlier, I was also so regimented. Like, I was getting up at like 5 a.m, going for a walk with my parents because it was a group effort. And my lunch was made, my breakfast was made. I was having green tea at the same time every morning, walking and whatnot. But it also was almost negatively reinforced because when I lost weight in school, my confidence did shoot up. Like, I was performing better in school. I was more confident to talk. I got a job and I was making money. I got my first boyfriend. Like, everything was, at the time, it seemed positive.
Yeah.
But I realized kind of later in life that I associated all of those good things, like me feeling smart, having money, having a boyfriend, having friends, like all those things, with me losing weight.
Yeah.
When basically it was the confidence that did that.
Yeah.
Right.
And now I think as adults, we know losing weight's really difficult, and it's not like eat a salad for a month.
No.
We know it's like a lifelong thing. So we almost are now seeking confidence in other aspects of our life.
But the other thing of that too that I didn't realize until later was the consistency. Now, I will never again have a schedule 5 days a week where I'm eating at the same exact time. Like, that's a perfect environment for your body to stabilize.
Yeah.
So you have to just give yourself some grace but the consistency is really key because I can eat healthy until I'm blue in the face. But if I go binge eat for like a week, that's not healthy. Like, you know,
What is the best, like individually, best diet plan that's worked for you and the worst one that was just a damn nightmare for you? And like, then again, just clarifying, like, all bodies are different, all hormones and
this is not an
metabolisms are
advice
different.
podcast.
Yeah, this is more just personal experience with dieting or a certain regimen of working out or whatever it was. Like,
you really shouldn't diet. You should learn how to eat and for your body.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I still am trying to figure out a proper, using the word diet for myself, not in the way that I'm restricting myself from things, but my body's just very sensitive to certain things, like a lot of acidic foods, which sucks because I'm Italian, so I eat it anyway, but I feel like I'm going to die after. And just like doing things in moderation. Like, I'm really not supposed to drink caffeine. Fuck that advice. I'm gonna drink caffeine. I love my coffee, but there's just like there's certain things where like I'm really not supposed to have certain things. One thing I am learning is like I have insanely low blood pressure, like really low blood pressure. And when my Lyme stuff was first going on, I had a doctor say, he was like, "Don't tell anyone I'm telling you to do this." He was like, "But eat potato chips in the morning." And for a whole year, I ate Lay's potato chips for breakfast because it was the only thing that wouldn't have me not pass out. I would literally get up and be so dizzy because my blood pressure from the Lyme was, they'd check my blood pressure and they'd be like, "You should be passing out any second." No, it was like, it was bottoming out. Yeah, it was not fine. So I had to take salt pills. Like my personal experience, it has been very fluctuating.
But that's too really important because if you just start a diet, like when keto was really popular, there are many people out there who can really hurt themselves.
You shouldn't do that diet.
Yeah. But like also I think the question should be amended and it should be the best like lifestyle or diet that's worked for you and was sustainable because you can drop weight.
Right.
Like you can do whatever you want, drop weight. But if you stop,
Right.
then you're going to gain it all back. That's not like a lifestyle. Like there are people that do keto and it has a lot of benefits for them and their doctor might support it, but that's their lifestyle from here on out. This isn't like a diet to lose weight. This is like you need to do this to be healthy.
Yeah. Sustainable. You're absolutely right. I feel like now I've like really learned my body. So I know I need personally a lot of protein in the morning. I need a lot of protein. I need a protein shake. I need something with substance and a really strong lunch. And coffee. And I'm not really a big dinner person. Like, and I do like dinner, don't get me wrong, because, pasta's great, but like I really try to have like a lighter dinner. It just seems to work better for my body. And I was always told the opposite. It was to have a big dinner the night before and breakfast, just have a little, and I can't do that. Like I have to have a huge breakfast. I'm like consistently eating I get up normally at like 5 a.m. for the gym and I have a protein shake, I have a protein bar, like I have a bunch of stuff, and then I'm constantly eating from 6 a.m. to like 9 a.m. just like constantly eating because like that's when my body needs it most. And that's just what worked for me. I'm still discovering my body. I'm still trying to figure out what works best for it. I'm actually taking a food sensitivity thing too, to kind of like further investigate those things. But the like what you said, the overall goal is to sustain. And also, you could drop a lot of weight, but like, is your energy okay? Is your body happy? Like, are you, because sometimes that can take a mental toll. Sometimes that can take a mental toll on you. And, I don't know. It's just, I notice too, if I don't work out in the morning or I don't eat a lot of protein in the morning, I don't feel as good personally. For me, like I just don't, it doesn't work for me. But that's been my personal
God bless
discovery.
Hope you figure it out.
Yeah, right. Lots to figure out.
So I think as far as for me, I've done, circumstances where I'll drop weight really quickly. Again, it was in a circumstance where my environment was very regulated. I was in school or I had a gap year, whatever it was. Something that was easily regulated, which always helps. And I worked out like 4 to 5 days a week because I was financially able to hire a trainer. And, I lived at home at the time. So my meals were somewhat prepped for me sometimes, but I would eat 800 calories a day. And of course I'll drop weight, 800 calories a day, but that never stuck around. And I think that's when I would feel the worst about myself because I would get to a point where I'm like, yes. And then within like 3 weeks, I'm like, what happened? And then I feel bad about myself. And then I, have destructive feelings towards food. And then, I've done keto before, which I did for almost 9 months, almost a year.
And it worked.
And my boyfriend and I did it. He does it 3 times a year. He'll drop the weight and then enjoy a few months and then go back on it and drop the weight and yada, yada. He would lose 20 pounds in 3 months. It took me 9 months to lose 10 pounds. And I was miserable the whole time. And you're not really allowed to work out on keto because you have no carbs, no sustenance.
Anything that's telling you you're not allowed to work out, which I have also done, it's a
cop out. Don't do that one.
Unless your doctor tells you it's good for you.
Yeah.
So I did that during COVID because gyms weren't open. I did keto. And it worked. Like I said, I lost the weight, but the second summer hit and I had...
Second you eat a potato.
The second I had a strawberry, a fruit, I blew up.
Yeah.
So my body doesn't react to those fad, quick diets. I've even done juice cleanses. I've done it all. Now I'm seeing a nutritionist like I've spoken about, and I'm actually learning, like you said, consistency. So I eat this many macros a day. I plan my meals out. I meal prep. And yes, I'm in a controlled environment to an extent. I work a 9 to 5. I know what time I have to be at work. I work from home a few days. My weekends are planned in advance. So
what's that like?
What's an organized life feel like?
That sounds great. I want one.
Thank you. So I'm very in a unique situation, and I'm thankful for that. And I am financially stable enough to have a personal trainer 3 days a week, go see this nutritionist, do body scans, do testing. So I'm figuring out what works for me, but I was up and down since I was 16. And my nutritionist said, she's like, that's why you can't lose weight.
Yup.
And listen, guys, I'm not here preaching because I know someone's rolling their eyes like, bitch, you're fine. It's not that. I've always wanted to be way more toned than I am, and I work out a lot.
We talked about that. Everybody has goals. You could be the most fit person ever.
Yeah.
And
I'm honestly
bulk, whatever.
I'm honestly here doing this because I've always had this picture of what my body looked like, no scale related. Just I want to have that look right before you get abs. So it's toned, but not abs yet. I've always wanted that. And I work out since I was 16, 4 days a week. I work out hard, so it's frustrating for me. And I'm learning that because I was always like this, she's like, you're healthy, you're fit. She's like, but that piece of weight that you want to lose to gain that look is going to be hard to lose because you've always done these stupid diets. Yeah. And they weren't ever good for your body, your metabolic rate, your stress level, your routine.
Right.
So now I'm learning that tracking your food is awesome and toxic at the same time. I learned that I eat like shit in the sense of I'll eat really healthy for breakfast and lunch, and then I'll have 6 cookies.
Oh, yeah.
And then you're like, at least I ate them all in one day.
Yes.
So it's tomorrow is going to be great.
Tomorrow's a new day. And I'll be like, but I had a salad for lunch, so I can have this. And that's not how it works.
Also, you were never a huge drinker.
Yeah.
True.
But I was.
I track stuff now, so when I track a martini, I'm like, shit, that's a lot of calories.
Is it?
Oh, yeah. And some things that you don't even track, if you don't track it right, it doesn't have, it can have calories, but it won't have. I explained this to someone too. They were asking me, I only want to eat 800 calories a day. And I was like, okay, well, do you know what you want to eat? You can have 800 calories of
a cookie,
of a salad, of chicken, all these things, or you can have 8 avocados or, for the whole day. And, calories are really hard.
How you balance. What's your story? What worked? What didn't? Sustainability.
I think one of the best and worst things is you really just have to learn about food. Learn how to be attentive and not rude when someone is describing their story. So I would say the best thing that's worked for me is honestly a positive end in negative sometimes, but I really think the best thing that works is just truly learning about food. Like learning what you get from different foods, like bananas and fruits.
That's why I
and
think
vegetables.
tracking can be good.
It can. Sometimes I'm like a self-sabotage queen. Like I will be like working out so good and then like
Applebee's.
what?
Then we'd be like, you want to go to Half Apps?
Yeah, or I'll be like, I don't want to track my food, or like I can't track it to the 100% perfection and like every single thing I'm eating, so I'm not gonna do it at all. And like, you know, that doesn't work either. But I think just the more I know about food, the more I learn, and the more that I went to see a nutritionist and things like that. When you are making bad choices, like I've done it, I've restricted, binged, whatever. You are consciously making an effort to kind of like hurt yourself, because you can't unlearn it. So I know how to eat a balanced meal. I know what my body needs. So it's not so much focused on a diet that worked or whatever, because, you know, I can restrict and lose weight. I could work out for hours a day like I used to and lose weight, but that doesn't work. It doesn't hold up. But I think just like the more knowledge you have, the better.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
So what diet worked for you the most? Like, what do you need now?
So honestly, I think for myself, it's not food. Like it's, like I said, consistency. I need better boundaries at work. I need to get more sleep. I think the best thing that's ever worked was cutting out unnecessary alcohol. One.
Bummer.
Like you can have a glass of wine or whatever, like, you know, but I'm like a fish, so I'll be like 3 glasses deep, and that's a lot of sugar. But anyway, just, you know, sleep, keeping my stress levels at a reasonable level, and honestly eating earlier, like not eating so late, has always been really helpful. Snacking isn't necessarily bad, which I always had there was a bad, you know, connotation around snacking.
Right.
But for me, actually eating more frequently was better.
yeah.
Because I think when I think of snacking, I think of like cosmic brownies. I think of Pop-Tarts. I
So
think of popcorn.
specific.
Because that was my snack as a kid.
Like I was like a latchkey kid. So when I started coming home from school by myself, which is what that means if anybody doesn't know, the only thing I knew how to make was like Hot Pockets or like ramen noodles.
Ramen.
Yeah.
And I'm like an addict when it comes to carbs.
Yeah.
And I would just eat that like every day. And I really saw the consequences. And I think at that age, like in middle school, whatever, like I would see kids eat like that all the time. And they weren't gaining weight. But unfortunately, like I was like 200 pounds in like 8th grade. Like I didn't necessarily look, I was always overweight, but I didn't look that heavy.
You didn't look like that.
I did, but like I definitely don't think anyone would have looked at me and been like, she's a 200-pound child.
Yeah.
But I was just, my body was so sensitive because I was eating like an adult. Like I was eating too much. And we had weight struggles on both sides of my family.
I was gonna say genetics plays a big part in
Oh,
it,
yeah.
and people need to like cut themselves a break because
a little bit, yeah.
like we said, we could all be doing the same diet and it do completely different things for us.
But what really worked for me is eating more frequently, making sure those frequent meals are balanced and usually high protein, and working out. Working out made a huge difference. Like when I was seeing a trainer, I really saw a difference. And lifting weights, like lifting heavy,
Strength training and-
made a huge difference. Like my nutritionist, I did a DNA test that tests a lot of different things, but like my sleep, the hormones that you get when you get enough sleep were so off because I'm not sleeping enough.
Wow.
I found out that I actually have the genetic makeup of what keto was supposed to be for. So like my body would react good to keto, but they told me like I'm too young, like, and that could really hurt my
could hurt
body
you in the long run.
Yeah.
so they just said like high protein, high fat, low carb, which I could have told you, and lifting heavier. So like aggressive amounts of cardio won't help me.
Yeah.
Of course it will have natural effects. Like, you know, I love riding my Peloton and I see it in my leg, like the definition of my legs, but burning, you know, hundreds of calories doing cardio isn't going to help me necessarily.
Gotcha.
I think too, like as an adult, you understand like the gym and how your body, how quickly it reacts to strength training or certain foods and whatnot. Like when I started this nutrition plan, I was eating like when I was tracking my food just to track my food so she could see like what do I eat in a day, how many calories am I at. I was at like 1,200 calories, like not even looking, and I had like 40 grams of carbs a day. And she was like, whoa. Like she was like, from how much you're working out and what you're doing at the gym, because I was still strength training without her at this point. And she was like, absolutely not. She's like, you're going to hurt yourself. You need way more carbs, you know, less fat, things like that. So and way more protein. So I was nervous, like I'm going to gain all this weight. And she was kind of explaining it to me like, no, we're just going to retrain your body's metabolism and thought process. And I did lose some weight, not as much as I wanted, but I actually feel like I gained a lot more muscle in the last 2 months than I ever have because I was providing the right resources. So I think what to take from this is to, one, be compassionate for yourself. Two, do your homework. Stop just doing the easiest thing because it worked for this person, or you don't want to work out, or you just want to eat meat and cheese. Been there. But really do, if you really care to get somewhere and to keep it, do your research. It's going to benefit you in the long run. And like we said before, we've heard from professionals, going up and down is bad. So find something that works, work hard at it, stay consistent, and then hopefully you won't have to do this again.
Yeah.
Well, or it's the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It just becomes a part of your routine.
Yeah.
You're not
Yeah.
on to the next diet, the next
that's the
plan.
biggest thing. And you have to be ready and show up for yourself. That sounds so cheesy, but it's like I talk about this with like my friends all the time. I know what to do, right? And I'm still sitting here telling you that I'm not like doing it. I just think I didn't. It's a cop out, and no one can do it for me, you know? So I just have to really show up for myself and, you know, get my life in order. You know,
Again, all been there.
right? Everybody's on the same. We're all running the same race.
Yeah.
Doing it a little differently.
Yeah.
I do hope moving forward that the healthy lifestyle, now that we've touched upon like body positivity in the world, I hope now the next step, because I think it was backwards a long time ago. It was women, come on, work out, do all these videos, do what you can, be the hot wife, be the hot mom. Now it's like, whoa, love yourself first.
Yeah.
And now I'm hoping that, like I said, sometimes it's a con. You know, I'm worried that we're promoting to be unhealthy sometimes, depending on the platform.
Or giving like an excuse.
Yes.
When it's like I think they do that though.
But what I'm saying is I'm hoping that we've established body positivity.
Yeah.
Now let's move forward to, ladies, we want to help you find what works for you, what makes you feel good. Not look good, feel good.
Yeah.
Because like you said, you know, you'll notice like when you feel like, okay, maybe I didn't lose 20 pounds, whatever, but I lost 8 and I feel better.
Yeah.
And it's not, like you said, it's showing up for yourself. I think that is what makes you feel good, is knowing that I woke up early to work my butt off.
Yeah.
You feel like a piece of shit.
Yes.
Like when I
miss a gym session.
Oh
or something.
yeah. And like I did Orange Theory. Shout out. Love Orange Theory. It's a great workout. But like I would sign up and not go. Like I'd sign up for a week straight and just not go. Like I would go to sleep. Like I would self-sabotage. I would stay up too late knowing that I'm going to be too tired to get up for my like 6 a.m. workout. And just like this constant cycle of like self-sabotage behavior.
Yeah.
And then when I miss the gym, I'm like, oh, whatever. I'm already going to have a bad day. Like, might as well eat this, you know,
Yep.
X, Y, fill in the blank.
Too.
Might as well order another round of sushi.
Right.
You know, whatever.
I
And-
think also, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh no, I was going to say I saw somewhere, I don't remember who it was, but it was a motivational speaker, and he was talking about self-confidence and self-esteem issues, and he was like, it doesn't come from what you look like, and it doesn't come from, you know, oh, doing this and that. He was like, it comes from the reputation with yourself. If you tell yourself, okay, I'm gonna wake up at this time and go to the gym, and you keep your promises to yourself, your self-confidence grows because you know you can trust yourself.
I believe that.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that.
I love that too.
Someone's told me once to think of going to the gym like an appointment.
Yeah.
Not like I want to do this. Like
Like a doctor's appointment.
you
You
wouldn't-
don't miss that shit.
yeah, like you wouldn't not show up. Like you made a commitment.
Right.
So things like that. I mean, and then once you get in the habit,
Yeah.
it's like
It's a part of your routine.
You start to crave it.
and you start to look forward to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you feel good. Even like not even obviously this is focused on health and body positivity, but even things like instead of scrolling on TikTok for 2 hours, like I started reading or like just doing something other than like allowing myself to spiral into the world of social media. Like it hurts my head. Sometimes like I'll watch TikToks until like 1 a.m. and I'm like, you are a grown up. Like you have a job tomorrow. Like you can't lay in bed and watch TikTok like aimlessly. I think I like it because it has such a strong level of escapism.
Yeah.
And you just it's scary, but
get
you literally
lost.
forget
Yeah.
what you're doing.
Yeah.
And it makes time like
Yeah. The people who designed that app are brilliant.
I mean, but they said like when I read something about this. I genuinely read, it wasn't a TikTok. I use that at work all the time. I'll be like, did you read that article? Like it was a TikTok. No, but I read something about how like TikTok creators are just like unreal because they figured it out. Like we only have the attention span of like a squirrel. So like we watch these 15-second, 1 minute, 3 minute videos and like we're on to the next. Like we're constantly entertained.
Yeah.
I just think that like filling the space in your life with things that make you feel good, like I feel good when I feel intelligent.
Yeah.
So when I learn new things or I'm experiencing something new, or I'm like, you know, earning that paycheck and doing something cool, like going to see a show or going on a trip or, you know, even just paying my rent. Like I feel like such a boss. I'm like, I'm independent, like whatever. But then you have these lulls where you're not doing what you know you should for yourself. You're, you know, avoiding going to the grocery store. Like sometimes I literally have like no coffee.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I wake up and I'm like, you're a sociopath. Like now you have to walk to Starbucks and you have to spend money.
Yeah.
Like just get caught. Like
Yeah.
the self-sabotage is real, but
Yeah.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
I think that's also just always going to be a struggle. There's going to be times in your life where it is a strong commitment. And that's where like that guy was saying, like, it does fall more under discipline. He was like, you can have a career and love it and wake up some days and not want to fucking do shit.
yeah.
That's just being a human. He was like, but it's discipline that matters. Are you going to get up on those days? And like, I always remind myself of that, of like, yeah, you know, sometimes I wake up, I don't want to fucking go to the gym, but it's more like the promise to myself. And like you said, the self-sabotage. And like this week, I didn't go grocery shopping. I was fucked all week.
Yeah.
I was
And
like,
you're just
I don't know
like,
what I'm
I
gonna
hate
fucking do.
myself.
Yeah. And I did it to myself. Like it really does get into that.
constant state.
But like, how good do you feel when you keep those promises to yourself? You take care of yourself and prep yourself, and you know, and then your week is.
And sometimes like my trainer would say, you know, maybe next week you can take off. You know, you've been working out 3 to 4 days a week for the last 8 weeks. I think, and I'm like, wait, what? You want me to leave?
Yeah.
And she's like, no, I'm not saying like leave and go eat 7 pizzas tomorrow. She's like, but leave and give your body a rest.
Right.
And next week we're going to go harder. Like
Yeah.
you're going to come more motivated, more ready, mentally prepare. And I'm like, that kind of makes sense to
Yeah.
me. 'Cause
Also-
you're in the routine, and then it's good to kind of be like, okay, now do you miss it? And then you're
Yeah.
gonna come back 10 times better.
Yeah.
So you do what works for you. Some people, they know they're gonna spiral and
Yeah.
they need that consistency. That's okay too. So I'm just saying there's so many options and varieties of a healthy lifestyle and
Yeah.
healthy living and body positivity, and changing things isn't bad either. If something doesn't work for you, try something else. It's not like you failed.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think that pretty much
Wraps
covers
it up.
a good amount. I feel like we covered a good amount.
Love.
Yeah.
Just
Love.
sharing the experiences are
Yeah.
like,
I would love to help someone younger or even at our age that's like feeling bad about
Anyone,
themselves.
really.
Yeah.
Because I always, like we said, we looked on social media, we looked for these answers, and everyone claimed they had the answer.
Yeah.
And there's women our age that have lost weight, and I'm like, I usually I gossip with you, and I'm like, how'd they do that? And I'm like, why am I thinking like that? They could have a completely different reaction to something that I could,
Yeah.
and it could never work for me. Or you don't know how they got that way. Maybe it was unhealthy. Maybe they're not. They look happy, but they're
Right.
not happy.
that's also something. I just had this conversation yesterday. Like, especially nowadays, I think we're becoming a lot more aware of how our words affect people, positive or negative. Like, you could be messaging a girl on Instagram being like, oh my gosh, you look so good. And she could have not eaten for like the
Right.
last week.
Right.
that's-
And like,
yeah.
I was debating this yesterday, like talking both sides, because you also never want to like not compliment someone.
Right.
But I think when it comes to anything about someone's body, man or woman, like, if I'm going to compliment you on how you look, it should probably be someone you know very well. Like, if I know my friend is working out at the gym,
Because you know the ins and outs.
and
Right.
you know, for the most part, you know, like,
How they're doing
how
it.
they're doing it. Yeah. So, like, you encourage each
true.
other, but you maybe shouldn't comment on people's bodies. You could say other things like, oh, you look so beautiful, or like whatever. But like, commenting on someone's body might be risky if you don't know what they're doing. You
Yeah,
just
that's
don't want to encourage. That happened to me.
Like
I
bad
mean,
behavior.
yeah, like, I felt like a rock star. Like, I was getting so much more attention, and like, why? Like, because I was
Yeah.
skinny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
It's fucked.
It is. I
Yeah.
hope even just people can take away from this conversation, just like, I feel like society tries to make it seem like everyone has it figured out, and I feel like it's just a little slice of like, you don't have to always have it figured out. And
Instagram
sometimes
looks
it
very
is trial and
figured out.
error.
Yeah.
It is what does work for you and what doesn't work. And it's super fucking frustrating too, like everyone's going through it. So I hope if you take anything away from this episode, take that. And yeah.
that's nice.
Thanks, Sarah, for coming on and like
thank
sharing.
you,
I feel like,
guys.
but it's also very whoa.
Courageous.
It's also very courageous to share experiences because sometimes they are very personal and,
Yeah.
and there's struggles and things like that. So I applaud you for coming on and sharing with us. And
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for giving me the opportunity to do so.
Yeah. Anytime.
Oh, yeah. I'll be on every week.
different topics all the time.
All right, everybody. Thanks for joining yet again.
Yes.
Hope we either helped or alleviated some sort of stress.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got 3 very different people up here. So.
Yeah. That's for sure. And don't forget to check out Alessio's in Hoboken, New Jersey. They've got everything from coffee to pizza to gelato to the best fucking rainbow cookies you'll ever try in your life. Go there, tell them we recommended you. And
On that note, I'm about to go eat. So.
yeah. Bye. Bye.
Bye.